Now with the launch of the DJI Neo, it's safe to say that at this point it's a smash success. With a price point of starting under $200, built-in active track, and probably one of the best hands-free flying experience ever, it could potentially be the most widely adopted mass market drone that we've ever seen. But interestingly enough, earlier this year, DJI released this thing, the Mini 4K. It's based off the Mini 2 SE platform, but it has the same 4K quality as the Mini 3, which costs about $100 more, since this thing starts at under $300 with one battery and one controller. Now the Neo by itself, as we mentioned, is $200, but if you want a controller and some few batteries, there is a combo pack for around $320, making both of these two drones fairly comparable in terms of the overall specs, where they can both record 4K video, and the price point with a controller is just around the $300 mark. But I've been testing out both for a few weeks, and there's actually some inherent advantages that both of them have over each other. So we're gonna go over each drone, talk about the advantages that each one presents, and then we're gonna weigh out which one has the best overall feature set for me personally, and then we're gonna ultimately determine which is the best $300 4K ultra compact drone. Now, firstly, let's get into the advantages of the Neo specifically. Now, there's actually 5 ways that you can control this thing. One is just using the drone independently by using the top function button at the front of the drone. The other method is use your smartphone for either on-screen controls or to do quick shots or active track and things like that. You can also use voice to do similar functions, as well as use the dedicated controller in addition to the FPV mode if you have the FPV goggles and dedicated controller from DJI. Now, certainly the big highlight is the hands-free operation. And since DJI has placed a top button right by the camera module over here, you can actually set several ways to use the drone hands-free. So in the default position, it's in the follow mode, but you can change that by just pressing the top button. And it'll
circle, rocket, spotlight, direction track.
And I'll go through all these different functions, and you can customize all these quick shots as well as the follow distance and everything through the app itself, and I'll save it onto the drone. But once you're ready to basically launch the drone, you simply place it on the palm of your hand, extend it, make sure the drone is facing towards your face, hold down the top button of the drone, it'll give you a countdown and launch automatically. Once you're done flying, you can simply hold out your hand underneath the drone. It'll detect your hand and land very softly. This works without a hitch based on all my flights with this drone, and is definitely one of the most advanced hands-free drone flying experience ever. Now, another big advantage is the fact that you have built-in AI active track. Active track has always been reserved for drones at a particular price point, and even the Mini 3 as well as the Mini 4K do not have any active track capabilities. They can do quick shots, so they can kind of follow you, but only for those specific shots. They can't actually follow you independently in a separate active track mode like on the Neo, and really the only drone that has this at the lower end price point is either the Mini 3 Pro or the Mini 4 Pro, as well as the upper end Mavic drone. So if you want active track capabilities at a cheaper price, this is pretty much the only game in town right now. Now, another great feature is the durable build quality. At under 140 grams, it's very lightweight, and the plastic is very durable in the same sense that DJI drones are fairly good in terms of taking light damage here and there. But because it's so lightweight and compact and fairly well designed and built, it can definitely take a fall from a decent height. But if you go too far or do anything too extreme, obviously you can certainly damage this drone. But I've definitely encountered a lot of different flights where this thing has crashed and there's not a scratch on it. So definitely great for beginners or kids flying the drone. Another big advantage is the smartphone integration. Now, this drone has built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so it'll connect to any iOS or Android device using the DJI Fly app, and you can control the drone in the automated ways with the quick shots and the follow mode, but you can also manually control it with on-screen controls, so kind of like a virtual controller on your iPhone or Android device, which is really cool, and you get a preview. So you don't need to buy a dedicated controller in that sense. Now, another big advantage to connecting to a smartphone is the voice command feature. So you could say, hey, fly, and do a specific command, whether it be follow, do a specific quick shot, make the drone fly closer or further from you, etc. There's many different commands within the app itself that you can look up. It is important to note that you do need a smartphone connection to make the voice commands happen because the drone itself does not have a built-in microphone. Now, as mentioned earlier, this is also an FPV drone, so it'll pair up with the DJI goggles as well as FPV controller system. And it has built-in head tracking, so it will follow your head movements with the goggles, so you could do some action-based aerial videography. Now, lastly, with the Neo, one advantage/disadvantage is the fact that it has internal storage only. You get 22 gigabytes, which is good for about 40 minutes of 4K footage and about 55 minutes of HD footage. That's nice that it has some internal capacity, but you're limited to that set amount since there's no SD card slot. Now, moving on to the Mini 4K, let's talk about the advantages on this thing. Firstly is the design and form factor. Even though it's heavier and has a larger volume measured compared to the Neo, because it's narrower in terms of width, it is a little bit more pocket friendly in my opinion. It fits better in most pockets, which are not as wide. You need about 157 millimeters in terms of width in your pocket to fit the Neo versus this is only 81 millimeters in terms of width. This fits better in most pockets unless you're using cargo pockets. Furthermore, the built-in antennas for both GPS and radio are a lot more powerful on the Mini 4K, I find. Especially during long distance communication, you can easily go 10 kilometers and have good signal communication between the controller and the drone itself on the Mini 4K, and acquiring a GPS lock happens a lot faster on the Mini 4K compared to the Neo. I found that sometimes I had to wait a couple of minutes just for enough satellites to be found by the Neo, since it's a smaller antenna and the radio frequency is not as powerful and the overall range gets a little sketchy past 7 kilometers. Another thing I like about the Mini 4K is it uses a real 2-axis stabilized gimbal compared to the single axis gimbal on the Neo. The Neo, in conjunction with that single axis, uses electronic stabilization in post to stabilize the video. That means it has to crop into the imaging sensor and you lose some resolution and quality in doing so, and also introduce some artifacts such as micro jitters and just not as smooth or natural looking video compared to the Mini 4K, which uses a proper gimbal. And especially in motion, you do notice that the video footage is slightly smoother on the Mini 4K. Furthermore, the flight dynamics and overall hover stability is greater on the Mini 4K since it's using slightly more powerful motors and the props themselves are slightly larger. You have less deviations in terms of hover dynamics, and the flight itself is a lot more stable and less interfered by wind. On top of that, I would also say the Mini 4K is about half the volume in terms of operation. So you hear the whining drone sound much less on the Mini 4K versus it's quite pronounced on the Neo. Furthermore, the Mini 4K does have a standard micro SD card slot, so you can add like a terabyte or whatever to capture all your footage, and that's going to definitely give you more capabilities in terms of capturing as much footage as you want without having to worry about running out of internal memory. Now, lastly, I want to talk about two big advantages that the Mini 4K has inherently. The first one is the battery life. Now, we have a larger overall capacity on the Mini 4K. So the battery, DJI claims, lasts around 31 minutes versus you're looking around 18 minutes on the Neo. And realistically, I got anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes of real world flight time on my Mini 4K and around 8 to 12 minutes on the Neo. So you're effectively getting double the flight time on a single battery with the Mini 4K. And lastly, probably the biggest advantage on the Mini 4K is the actual video quality itself. Even though technically the Neo records 4K resolution, it's recording at 60 megabits per second. It's electronically stabilized, so it crops into the 12 megapixel sensor to capture that video if you want it stabilized, of course. And on top of that, the overall color dynamics, video processing, low light performance, as well as dynamic range is at least half the performance of what I'm getting with the Mini 4K, which definitely has sharper looking videos, much more real world resolution, and more realistic colors, as well as dynamics. Now, granted, the Neo is definitely designed for social media creators or people that are going to consume stuff on a mobile platform. So on a smartphone screen, it looks pretty okay. But once you start comparing it with the Mini 4K footage, you can even notice the difference on a smaller display. And just for the fact that both drones with a controller are around the $300 price point, you are getting better video quality out of the Mini 4K. Now, beyond those notions, what are some of the key aspects that the Neo can improve upon to make it the best ultra portable drone ever, and definitely be a better value than something like a Mini 3 or a Mini 4K? Firstly, it has to be, they have to kind of tweak the design. Because it's so wide, it's definitely not as pocket friendly in my opinion. So they might need to go to some sort of foldable design or just be a little bit more compact. The weight is great. It's very lightweight and great in terms of build quality, but I think it needs a redesign in terms of its overall structure. Furthermore, this is a little bit more minor, but the active tracking capabilities is great most of the time, especially in well-lit conditions. But this drone struggles in low light quite severely. Even flying indoors, it sometimes has challenges. And I've encountered many times riding my bike, going through tunnels, it actually crashed a couple of times into the wall because it couldn't see me in just minor low light conditions. So definitely be wary of that when you're flying with this thing in active track mode. Furthermore, for social media, there is no vertical shooting modes like we have on the Mini 3, for example, where you can switch between a vertical and horizontal camera shooting position. So since this thing is really designed for social media, that would have been logical to have, but I can see why that could be a challenge to implement given the small form factor. Lastly, the two big areas of improvement are definitely one, the battery life, where it's really not usable unless you're going to have multiple batteries with you at a time, which defeats the purpose of having a small compact drone in the first place. And secondly is the video quality itself. As we've demonstrated, it's quite poor given the standards of 2024 going into 2025. And even though this is small, lightweight, and cheap, I definitely think that DJI could have put a better video processing system in here to kind of match it to at least the level of their older generation 4K drones. Now, besides all those factors, to kind of sum up everything we've talked about, I think if I had to select between the Mini 4K and the Neo, and for me personally, I'm in it for the video quality. When I'm at a specific location, I want to capture it as best as possible. And that means to have the best overall performance in terms of the flight dynamics, as well as the video capturing capabilities and good battery life, so I can actually have some time with the drone in a given location. The active tracking capabilities is definitely nice to have as well. And unfortunately, we don't have it on the Mini 4K, but if that had it, would have been a amazing overall package, given the design and form factor of the Mini 4K is quite good as well. But besides all those things, I would definitely go with the Mini 4K over the Neo, especially considering the price of the Neo with the controllers around the same price. So that's definitely a better overall solution if you're in it for the video quality itself. I could see somebody going with the Neo as a standalone product for under $200. It's a great drone, very high value in that aspect, but you do have to understand its limitations for even social media. And if you're going to use that as a travel drone and things like that, it's not too bad, but it's not as pocket friendly as you would think. And the video quality is pretty compromised alongside the battery life. But besides really, other than that, guys, that's really it. I'm overall really enjoying both drones, and love to know what you guys think of the new DJI Neo. Have you purchased it yet? Do you think it's better than the Mini 4K or the Mini 3? What drone do you think is the best drone for under $200 to $300? I'm going to be actually doing a follow-up video with both of these drones, and we're going to take a look at some competitive options. I know DJI pretty much owns the market in terms of small form factor drones up to the larger drones, but I think there's some good competitors out there, and we're going to explore some alternative options. So definitely make sure you're subscribed to the channel, have post notifications turned on, and we'll see you real soon in the next one. Take care.